by Jack in the Box and by the Progressive Insurance Group. Cloudy day outside. There may be some rain along the way. No problem inside as the Astros and Pirates wrap up this homestand. Lineup cards are just now being exchanged at home plate. Usually that happens a little bit earlier. So the players getting ready to take the field before the Astros hit the road for Cincinnati, and the Pirates will be moving on to Los Angeles. The Astros now have climbed to within 2 games of 500 at 70 and 72. They trail St. Louis by 13.5. They move to within 3 games of second place Chicago as they take the field today. That's largely due to this 7-2 homestand. They're now 7-4 in the month of September. Since the All-Star break, they're 26 and 28. One of their missions today is to get a win for Felipe Paulino. Here's the lineup he will be facing. The Pirates go with center fielder Andrew McCutchen, third baseman Andy LaRoche, first baseman Garrett Jones, catcher Ryan Doman, right fielder Brandon Moss, left fielder Lastings Millage, shortstop Ronnie Cedeno, second baseman Ramon Vasquez, pitcher Paul Maholm.
Felipe Paulino works for the Astros, and he's pitched pretty well the last couple times out. Just not getting any run support for the season. 2-8, 6.34 ERA, 19 games, 13 of those as a starter. The home run ball has been a bit of an issue for him. He's allowed 16 in 76 and 2/3 innings. But again, lately he's pitched pretty well. Defensively, the Astros feature Lee Bourne and Pence in the outfield. The infield will have Chris Johnson back in there at third base. Out at short. Matsui's really played well on this homestand. He's at second. Puma's at first, and Quintero gets to start behind the plate.
Final game of the season series. The Astros have won 10 and lost 4 against the Buccos. They're 6-2 against the Pirates here at home. Fans out on a Sunday afternoon to see what develops. There has been plenty to watch on this homestand. We got a glimpse of it a little bit earlier. The Astros will be gone for the next week on the road, 3 in Cincinnati, and then after an off day Thursday, 3 in Milwaukee. And the way they're playing at home, winning 12 of their last 16, fans have really enjoyed what they've been seeing. The Astros now 42 and 32 here at Minute Maid Park this season.
And the energy of the ballpark has been nice to see for a team that has fallen out of contention. Some of these games on this homestand, and of course, have been close games and some dramatic finishes, but the fans have really been into it. It's been nice.
Andrew McCutchen has been kept down in this series. Swings at the first pitch, high bouncer over Johnson up the left field line. Looks like a double for the speedy McCutchen, and it will be easily. Johnson was playing in, and the ball took one big bounce and went over him. So McCutchen's on with a double, number 22.
And McCutchen, very much like Michael Bourne, corner infielders, third baseman have to pinch up to take away the bunt, and you become vulnerable to a play like this. The Baltimore chopper down on third base line, and it's an easy double for McCutchen. Might be the fastest runner in the league.
He is indeed a speed merchant. He's aboard for Adam LaRoche, for Andy LaRoche rather. Andy at 246 with 9 homers, has 52 runs batted in. Pirates have been outscored in the first inning in their last 12 games, 22-1. Ball went upstairs from Paulino. Paulino has lost his last 2 games, 2-0 and 2-1. The Astros have not scored a run in each of those 2 starts while he's been in. He's done a fine job. He's been stuck with 2 L's in those. Now he falls behind, 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, the key here, early in the game, you've given up this leadoff double, but it's the first inning. So basically almost disregard that base runner and just try to get out. So you start to pitch around hitters because you're fearful of giving up that run. Then you set yourself up for a big inning.
Tap to second base. Matsui flips on to first, and McCutchen advances on out number 1. And some people would think, well, fine, it's a productive out, but he had a 2-0 count. Didn't do a whole lot with that. So the Astros now will hope they can get Garrett Jones and keep that runner at third.
And he'll get high fives in the dugout for advancing the runner, but I'm not sure what his thinking was. But the mindset there, for me anyway, would be, don't take a little inside out swing to try to advance the runner 2-0. Look for something you can juice, and if the byproduct of it is a ground ball to the right side and advance him, that's fine.
304 for Garrett Jones, a tough out for the Buccos. 19 homers, leads all rookies, and he has already set a club record for homers by a left-handed hitting Pirate rookie.
Pirates have lost 14 of their last 15 games, 13 in a row on the road, and we talked about their first inning shortcomings, so maybe they're thinking is let's just try to get a lead here for once.
Maybe so. It's 2-0 to Jones, who's played the outfield, finding himself at first base again today. Good-looking player. 28 years old, from Tinley Park, Illinois. He had previous major league time with the Minnesota Twins at 07. Came up through their system.
Top behind some pretty good outfielders over there in Minnesota, so it took him a while to get to the big leagues. His minor league credentials are legitimate for power throughout his minor league career. Pretty rare, though, to see a guy break in a big way at the age of 28.
Yes, it is. 3-1 to Jones. He was drafted by the Braves in the 14th round. They released him after drafting him in '99. They released him in '02, and then Minnesota picked him up. Had a 30 home run year at New Britain in '04. And he chases one. Paulino goes to 3-2 now.
Okay. Showing a little craftiness there on 3-1, coming with the breaking ball. Jones sitting dead red, clearly fooled.
Fielders in halfway up the middle. Berkman is back at first. And it's into right field. 1-0 Pirates on the RBI single by Jones. Previous pitch was a dandy. That pitch sat there for him, and he picked up his 39th run batted in.
He made a nice adjustment staying back. Paulino figured, well, maybe he's looking fastball again. He came with a breaking pitch. Didn't want to walk him. And Jones just put a good swing on it. Matsui's back at regular depth. Maybe he makes a play on that ball.
Jones aboard. Ryan Domit's the batter. Domet had 2 hits Friday night. There's strike one to a .234 hitter, 8 homers, 28 runs batted in. Domit's had a broken hand this year and has come back from that to do quite a bit of catching recently. Banged up with that game Friday night, taking foul balls. That time of year when catchers have gone through a lot. He strokes that one out into center field for a single, getting Jones to second. He holds on there on the hit by Domet. 3 hits in the inning by the Bucks. That's Brandon Moss coming up.
McCutcheon's double a little bit fortunate, with the last 2 have really been centered. Jones hit his ball hard. Domet with a good swing here on an outside fastball. Not a terrible pitch. Maybe even off the plate away, up a little bit. Flicked it to center field.
Moss takes the curve, and it's good for strike one. Moss, a .244 hitter with 7 homers. He's driven in 34 runs. He's 1 for 5 in this series. Got a pinch hit last night. No balls, 2 strikes now with lasting Smillage on deck.
Paulino has such a good fastball. He throws 97 miles an hour. So hitters are going to go up there looking for the heater. And it may take a lot of breaking balls or off-speed pitches before he can convince the Pirates to come off the fastball in their approach.
One ball, 2 strikes. Cecil Cooper was talking about his starting rotation before the game today, and of course watching very carefully for the innings load on pitchers like Paulino. Felipe, 25 years old, missed all of last season. Pretty good chance most of the guys in the Astros rotation will be pitching under wraps from now on out. Boy, Oswalt has been bothered by back issues, so there's a reason to watch him very carefully, more so than normal. Wandy Rodriguez showing a little signs of fatigue. He's posted his high in innings for a season. Bud Norris also has reached his high in innings pitched in a pro season, and so on down the line. And Bud's been moved back to Friday now.
Yeah, that's you know, you're in September, you're out of the race, so this allows you to rest some people and take a look at some other people. Stretch out that rotation a little bit. Somebody will have to make that start in Cincinnati on Wednesday. That was
going to be Bud Norris. Right now it's to be announced.
He's pretty good.
Shows up a lot. Inside it almost clipped Moss, and it's 3-2 now. Moss has struck out 73 times. Roy Oswalt will take his start Tuesday night against the Reds. He's 23-1 lifetime against them. Moss down on strikes. 2 outs.
Good pitch, good call by Humberto Quintero. Again, they're talking about the Pirate hitters probably sitting fastball against Paulino until he convinces them otherwise. So 3-2 count. He comes with a curveball. Moss a little anxious with that man out there in scoring position. He's shaking his head. He said, I can't believe this guy that throws 97 pulled the string with that curveball.
Quintero at the helm, suggesting what pitch should be thrown. Lasting's Millage is in the box. 3 for 8 in this series. He gets a breaking pitch, and it's strike 1 to Millage. 288 for Millage with 2 homers. He's driven in 15. He was recalled at the end of July from Indianapolis, where he hit 333 after being acquired from Washington along with pitcher Joel Hanrahan for Niger Morgan and Sean Burnett on June 30th. Pirates are talking about shutting down Ross Ollendorf, last night's starting pitcher, soon as well for that same reason. Innings load. No balls, 2 strikes. And John Russell was quoted in one of the articles after the game last night. Very complimentary, of course, of the way Ollendorf pitched. 21 pitches so far for Paulino, saying that studies have shown if a pitcher gets up to 40 innings more than he had the previous season, the injuries really are occurring at a much higher rate. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Paulino 4-9 as a lifetime record in the majors with a 6.49 ERA. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Felipe had a pinched nerve in his right arm last year after he had made his debut at 07 for the Astros. Pitched 5 times that year, but most of that season was at AA Corpus Christi, where he worked 112 innings. Three and 2 now. So his high for innings pitched in the season is about 130, JD.
Who's that, Paulino?
Yeah. Coming into this year.
He's got 76 major league innings this year.
Dewey Robinson watches that very carefully.
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of a balancing act. You want to be careful and protect as many arms as possible, but sooner or later you have to turn people loose and see what they can do.
Fly ball hit softly, and Michael Bourne cruises over into left center to make it a 1-run Pittsburgh first on 3 hits with 2 men stranded. Astros come up in a moment. Bourne in center field. Kazuo Matsui second base. Lance Berkman first base. Carlos Lee left field. Miguel Tejada shortstop. Hunter Pence right field. Chris Johnson third base. Humberto Quintero catcher. Felipe Paulino pitcher.
27-year-old left-hander Paul Maholm for the Pittsburgh Pirates this afternoon, looking to even his record at 7-8 now through 28 starts, 4.72 ERA. With Maholm, it's all about location, not just where he puts the baseball, but where he pitches. At home, rock solid. On the road, pretty ugly. 6.09 ERA. Outside of Pittsburgh defensively, Millage, McCutcheon, Moss, M&M in the outfield. LaRoche, Cedeno, Vasquez, Jones cover the infield for the Pirates. Ryan Domit behind the plate for each game of this series now. Sinker, changeup, curveball for Maholm.
Ball one to Michael Bourne. Maholm, the opening day starter for the Bucks, gets a swing and a miss, and it's 1-1 to Michael. A .292 hitter. He has 3 homers, 35 runs batted in. For 8 in this series. Michael now with 89 runs scored, ranking 7th in the league.
Was eavesdropping on a little hitting conversation down in the clubhouse earlier today. Dave Clark and Carlos Lee and Michael Bourne sitting around chatting. It's pretty interesting to hear Carlos's approach as he's talking to Michael, what he tries to do. Says he likes to be very patient in his first at bat, especially against a top flight pitcher. He wants to see as many pitches as possible. Trying to convey that message to Michael too.
Three and two.
To that end, Michael successful. Look at the count full here.
Michael talked about that first at bat in the game Friday night against Charlie Morton. He struck out looking, but he saw the off-speed stuff of Morton. And he kind of likes that fact of seeing what a pitcher has the first time up.
Yeah, Carlos' point is, he's not giving away at bats, but if he gets beat in his first at bat, but as long as he's seen a lot of pitches, he feels like he may come up later in the game, second or third trip, with a man or two on base, and now he knows everything the pitcher features and when he may be inclined to throw in a given count.
That one got away from Maholm. It's base on balls from Bourne, his 60th walk of the year. He has the ability to create instant havoc here for the Pirates. With his league leading 53 stolen bases, he's been caught 10 times.
Maholm with just one win in the second half of this season, an ERA of 4.92, 1-4 since the break.
Astros are seeing him for the 4th time this year. Kazuo Matsui, 251, 5 homers, 38 driven in. Good series, 4 for 7 for Matsui. And that one's way out of the zone.
Kazuo's been on a nice roll, having a real nice homestand. Maholm not an overpowering guy, so he's got to locate with that heater.
Maholm last time out gave up 4 runs in 6 innings. Got a no decision against the Cardinals. The Pirates won it 6-5 in their last at bat. Lost each of his last 3 starts on the road since he beat Brian Moeller here July 7th. He gave up 2 runs in 6 innings, winning that one 6-3. It's 1-1. Maholm also won a game here, beating Roy Oswalt June 6th this year, giving up 4 runs in 7 innings. Won that one 6-4.
7-2 in his last 9 decisions against the Astros.
Maholm misses, and it's 2-1. He is 37-43 in his major league career. First round pick in 03. The 8th player drafted. Born in Greenwood, Mississippi. Went to Mississippi State. Pirates are tied for the league lead in double play balls. To right field. Moss in a few steps. 1 out for Maholm. Maholm was 9-9 last year, but he had a 3.71 ERA or 206 innings. Prior to this season, he had really been torched at Minute Maid Park to the tune of 1-3 with an 8.69, but having won both of his starts here this year, That's probably a distant memory for him right now. Lance Berkman, 275 with 20 homers, has 71 driven in, 2 for 4 with a homer in this series. A very solid homestand for Lance. He's hit .310 with a couple of homers, driving in 6. Rolled up the line and foul. Strike one to Lance. He now has hit 20 homers or more every year in this decade. Lance went deep in the first inning off Charlie Morton Friday night, batting left-handed. And also Derek Lowe gave up a Berkman homer on Thursday night. Strike makes it 0-2. Home plate umpire is Bill Miller. Pirates, with those 13 straight road losses, are now 18-52 on the road this year. It's 1-2.
So what you're saying is they're not brimming with confidence when they take the field outside of PNC Park.
They can be. They have a winning record at home.
That's really amazing. You think a team that played that poorly on the road would be better at home, but would probably still be below 500 in their own ballpark. That's really incredible.
It is. Hard to explain. Bourne goes. And there's the pitch to Berkman. And no throw on the steal as the pitch is ball 2. Bourne gets his 54th.
15 steals, 6 caught now with Paul Maholm on the mound. Michael going on first move. Maholm employing the big leg kick, so no shot for Domet. Catchers in a situation like that have to exercise patience. Just stay down and catch the pitch, try to get a strike.
Berkman tries to beat out an infield roller. Maholm throws him out. Bourne to third base. 2 outs. For Carlos Lee.
We talk a lot about infielders in particular, about having a clock in their head, a baseball clock, and how much they have to hurry to make a play. And I think the same thing applies to a catcher in a stolen base situation. If you know that you have no shot at throwing the base runner out, there's no sense coming out of your crouch and making an ill-advised throw. Just stay down and frame the pitch, and maybe you can get a call at home plate.
Carlos on a 5-game hitting streak tries to drive in the tying run here. Miguel Tejada on deck. He looks at strike one. 306 for Carlos. 25 long balls. 94 driven in. He's a .219 career hitter against Maholm without a homer. Maholm stays away from him. The count goes to 1-1. Pirates have not yet played the Dodgers this year. They're headed for LA after this game today, and then they finish the season at home with the Dodgers. Foul ball makes it 1-2. Carlos Lee hit the big 2-run homer last night.
Kazuo Matsui had a 1-out bunt single, and then that blast by Carlos gave the Astros a 2-0 lead. Breaking ball, and then Miguel Tejada in the 7th hit a 2-run shot. And the Astros didn't have many hits in the game, but they had enough, and they came at the right time.
4 runs on 4 hits, nobody left on. Smack to center field. McCutchen backing on it. And it's a 20-pitch first inning for Paul Maholm, but he puts up a 0, and it's 1-0 Bucks. Daniel leads it off for the Bucks. Daniel, smooth fielding shortstop. Johnson plays a step behind the bag at third. Cedeno with good speed. He gets a first pitch fastball, and it's strike one. 293 for Cedeno, 5 homers, 18 runs batted in. That's the way the Astros play him. He slices one outside the right field line and back into the seats. He is 3 for 7 in this series.
Straight up in the infield, pretty much straight up in the outfield. Hunter Pence shading towards the line in right field. Cedeno has shown an inclination to hit the ball to right. Fairly tight to the line there, giving him a lot of room in right center.
Field goes to first. Checked his swing. Adrian Johnson with a call. It's 1-2 for Cedeno.
Of course, that's the beauty of having a speedy guy like Michael Bourne in center field. There's no such thing as a slow center field. It's still faster than most.
Chris Johnson moves to his right. Strong arm with a low throw, and Berkman digs it out. Nice play by Lance. 1 out.
Not unlike the ball McCutchen hit. But this time Chris playing back, able to handle that chopper, and then Puma able to bail him out as Chris threw a sinker across the infield.
That's an outstanding play by the first sacker. 1 out, and Ramon Vasquez bats next. He gets a slow hook for strike one. Vasquez 246, 1 homer, 15 runs batted in. Fastball's in the air toward the seats outside the left field line. Vasquez had an RBI double and 2 walks last night. It's a happy camper down the left field line. 360 in his career at Minute Maid Park.
Yes, he did.
The appeal went to third, and he did go. Jim Joyce made the call, and that's strikeout number 2 for Paulino. Where did that phrase come from anyway? Happy camper.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna have to look that up. Good question. Hey, Saturday, September 26th, there's a Hispanic Street Festival from 2:30 to 5:30 on Avenue of the Americas. That's right next to the ballpark here. There'll be a live Astro player appearance, music from Grammy-winning duo of Jesse and Joy, and also a Pudge Rodriguez bobblehead for the first 10,000 fans. It's courtesy of the Day Hill Industries. Reds are in town. It's a 6:05 game. Come on down and make a day of it.
Why not? Paul Mahalam is behind quickly 0-2. He has 4 hits and 0.75 batting average. Close for Paulino. 1-2. Yeah, that sounds like a good day to get out. Pudge should be catching because the Rangers have a doubleheader. He should be catching 1 game at least today. Several, I think 3 doubleheaders around the majors today, JD, because of the rainouts Friday night. Rainy in a lot of places last night. Boston got a lot of rain last night.
Days are growing short on the schedule. Got to get them in.
Yep. Paulino has a 1-2-3 second. He's retired 5 straight, 1-0 Pirates.
Astros history 40 years ago today. That man, number 49, Larry Dierker, tosses 8 2/3 no-hit innings against Atlanta in pursuit of his 20th win, broken up by Felix Millan. How about that? Game was tied 0-0. Dirk pitched into the 13th inning.
Wow. Strike one to Miguel Tejada.
13th inning, had a 2-0 lead, and then ex-Astros Sonny Jackson and Bob Aspermani keyed a 3-run Atlanta rally for a 3-2 defeat. That's a hang with him for Dirk.
Oh, boy.
Felix Millan, who used about half of a bat.
Yeah.
He choked up a good 8 or 9 inches on the bat.
As I recall Dirk's description of that game, Felix did not hit that ball very hard.
So you would say that Dirk was not a happy camper after that game.
Correct. 1-2 to Miguel Tejada. Happy camper,
yeah.
So that would be going on a camping trip,
well,
maybe. And
Miguel Tejada was a happy camper, and he had his 2-run homer. Could see the difference in that ball game on a low inside fastball. They're trying to count him in. He dropped the head on it.
Yes, he did.
Maholm's done a good job keeping the ball in the ballpark this year. He's allowed just 14.
Comebacker there takes care of out number 1.
A happy camper, I looked it up here. The underlying essence, of course, is to a child at summer camp.
Okay.
A venue in which happiness and team spirit are stressed, yet, especially for neophytes, notoriously elusive. So that's why a lot of people use happy camper in the negative, like he's not really a happy camper. And they reference back to the Hello Mutta, Hello Fada song, Camp Granada.
That was good.
That's according to the Word Detective.
Word Detective. Hunter Pence, 290, 2 for 7 in this series. He has 23 homers, 68 driven in. And that's strike one for Maholm. Hunter has a 3-game hitting streak. He's driven in 9 in his last 9 games. Floats up there, 1-1. I like Hunter's chances against Paul Maholm.
What are you envisioning here?
I think a double to left center field, although Millage is over in left center field.
They're talking about, we showed the deployment of the Astros with Hunter guarding the line. They're taking the alley. Oh, there you go.
It's in the air to left. Millage comes over. No wind, and he makes the catch.
Used a 6-iron. He probably should have used a 5. One more club. He just missed it. He's got under a little bit, hit it high. Just not quite deep enough.
Village takes care of out number 2. Chris Johnson making his 3rd start at third base for the Astros. Is 1 for 10 as a major leaguer so far. Quintero on deck.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how close Millage and McCutchen are in the outfield. I mean, and they're both so fast. It's like they're.
That's strange. Maholm takes care of 2 plays himself in the 2nd inning and maintains his 1-0 lead. RBI single by Garrett Jones. Coming up later in our Dodge Grab Live feature, Lance Berkman will explain why he was an American League fan growing up. Stay tuned for that. Andrew McCutchen leads it off. He led off the first inning with a high chopping double over the head of Chris Johnson, then came home to score on the Jones hit, shortening up on that, and he takes strike one. One ball, one strike. McCutchen now has been on base in 22 of his last 25 games. It's 2-1. Pirates are developing another young outfielder, Jose Tabata. So they can really put some good people out there once he's ready to go. They have two good outfielders in Millage and McCutchen. Deep drive to right field. Hunter Pence.
McCutchen looks to me like a guy who's going to settle in and well, depending on once he starts to make money, if they're in a position to keep paying him, or whether they unload him like they've done with so many of their other quality players that have come along. But he could be a real anchor for this team for a long time. Could envision him making a number of all-star teams. He's got that kind of ability.
There's strike one for Paulino on the fastball to LaRoche, who grounded out to second earlier. Pirates making those trades this year. Jack Wilson and Ian Snell went to Seattle for Jeff Clement and three minor league pitchers. Pirates got Double-A right-handed pitcher Tim Alderson from San Francisco for second baseman Freddie Sanchez. So they're restocking. Pirates at the end of June were only 6 games out at first. They were 14-13 in June. 1 ball, 2 strikes. They had signed Nate McLeod to a 3-year deal and then traded him to Atlanta. That surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, the rationale is they traded him to make room for McCutchen, but there's 3 outfield spots, so they clearly could have found room for McLeod if they had wanted to. Stuck him in right or left.
This is their 17th consecutive losing season since 1992. Boy, they had some good teams in the early 90s. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Doug Drabek, John Smiley. Who else was on that pitching staff that you can remember? Really
Bob
good.
Walk.
Bob Walk, yeah.
Position players: Bonds, Bonilla, Van Slyke. Tough lineup to pitch to. Pretty good catching duo: Don Slott and the Spanky Mike LaValliere.
Yeah.
Walkie, kind of a veteran presence on the rotation. Great competitor.
Line into right center field. Roche is on with 1 out for Jones now.
Chico leaned.
Oh, yeah. He was a good second baseman.
Jay Bell, the shortstop, I think.
I think he was.
Yeah. Jimmy Leyland, of course, managed those clubs.
Now it's Jones. Jones had the RBI single to right field on a 3-2 pitch. And there's strike one.
Tardy, a little late to the party with that swing.
Yeah.
It's an interesting stat line. 19 home runs, but only 39 driven in.
No balls, 2 strikes to Garrett Jones. Pirates were only 1 game shy of the World Series in '92. Swing and a miss. And a strikeout of Jones for out number 2. A different pattern this time for Paulino. Second time through the order.
Just abused Jones. A couple of good heaters, then finished him off with a breaking pitch, moving out of the strike zone. Garrett looked overmatched in that AB.
Very much so. Ryan Doumit single to center field in the first inning. Red Sox lead the Rays in the top of the 9th at Boston, 3-1. Clay Buchholz started. Snap throw to first. Early warning system. LaRoche back to first. On ball 1 to Doumit. Dustin Pedroia hit a 2-run homer in the 8th for Boston. That's number 13 for him. It's 2-0. Doubleheader in Boston today. Doubleheader for Texas. A lot of action around the major leagues. Dodgers have unloaded a couple of wins on the Giants in their series out west. Miss. Makes it 2-1.
Again, Felipe showing the ability to come off the fastball on a fastball count. Real nice sign. Good breaking pitch. There's the pickoff attempt earlier. If a opposing base runner ever gets picked off at first base by Humberto Quintero, he should be heavily fined in Kangaroo Court. Because I guarantee you that advanced scouting report comes down and says, hey, be careful at first base. He loves to throw to first base.
Sure. Now a 3-2 count for Doumit. And LaRoche will be moving on this next pitch. Phillies lead the Mets 4-0, bottom of the 6th at Philadelphia. Kyle Kendrick is their pitcher. John Maine came off the disabled list to start that game for the Mets. He went 3 innings. There it goes, and it's a fly ball to left center. Carlos Lee got a jump. No runs, a hit, and a man stranded. 1-0 Pirates in the 3rd. Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by Dodge, by Geico, by the MD Anderson Cancer Center, by AT&T, and by the Ford F-150. Sun has broken through the clouds on this Sunday. Good day for sports viewing around the Houston area, and there's a lot going on here. These fans have watched the Pirates take a 1-0 lead in the first inning on the Jones single. The Astros do not have a hit yet. They got a leadoff walk from Michael Bourne in the first. Humberto Quintero will try to provide one. 231, 3 homers. He's driven in a dozen. And a shot goes into left field. Q jumping on that first pitch from Paul Maholm. Takes the turn. He's headed for second. And he will be out. 7-4 play for out number one.
Now we talked about the speed of Laston's Millage in left. Now he's way above average. A lot of times left fielders are kind of big, plodding, power hitting type guys. But Millage brings speed to the table. Not a bad try here for Q, trying to go for two. And Millage with his speed gets in pretty good shape and makes an accurate throw. Good hard slide by Q. He didn't like the call, but it looked like they got him. We'll take another peek. Well, tough to tell. Good, strong, accurate one-hop throw. Flip a coin.
Paulino, the batter. There's a strike to him.
Tag looks like they may have got him up on the hip.
The roller goes out to second. Vasquez, 2 outs. Well, Millage has just come up with the 39th outfield assist for the Pirates on that play. They lead the majors. Now Michael Bourne. You talked about it last night about the guys with the outfield assists, and we showed the assist leaders in the National League, and a lot of them are speedy type outfielders. They're getting to the ball quickly. That's what Millage can do.
Guys like Millage, McCutchen, Bourne, Pence, they make a lot of plays because they get to the ball much quicker than other outfielders.
So they're luring the base runners into thinking they might be able to take that extra base.
This is interesting, the deployment again. You talk about trusting your speed. McCutchen and Millage are playing like they're at the Little League World Series. They're really shortened up, and if Michael drives one over their heads, especially McCutchen, it's an easy triple. It's not as risky a proposition for the left fielder because he's got that big wall behind him.
Goes for it, and that's a strike, and that ends the third inning. On strikeout number one for Maholm. No runs a hit, nobody left. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Visiting team's dugout.
That's Curran. He's 2 years old. It's his first ball game.
Nice. Brandon Moss leads it off and looks at ball one from Felipe Paulino. He struck out in the first inning. Paulino made one other start here against the Pirates in June. Got a no decision. He had to leave that game with a groin injury after 1 2/3 innings. 2 balls, no strikes for Felipe from the Dominican Republic. Signed as a free agent in 2001. He's really relishing this shot at the Astros rotation in September of 09. Trying to gain a spot for 10. 3 balls, no strikes. He's been in and out of the rotation this year.
If they don't start scoring runs for him, he might not want that opportunity at 10. Just get me out of here. Somewhere where they score me some runs.
Well, he hasn't had many. You're absolutely right. Gets it by Moss for a 3-2 count now. The Astros are 3-10 in his 13 starts. Away.
He's got the plus fastball, and he's shown a good breaking ball at times. He's had a good one today. He could benefit from a straight change, and if he could find a way to create some movement on his fastball, even if he had to sacrifice velocity, that would really help.
Line shot to center field. Moss is on. How do you create movement with the fastball?
Well, I think you just have to start playing around with grips and maybe be willing to change the release point a little bit. Forcing fastballs tend to be pretty true. They're straight, and they usually have a little hop on them, and that's what most power pitchers feature. But a 2-seam fastball where you can get a little run, and it doesn't have to be a nasty sinker, just something with a little running action, a little movement away from a left-handed hitter would serve him well. That's some guys just can't do it. Finger pressure, trying to manipulate the ball. I couldn't really throw a 2-seam fastball. I didn't get much movement on mine because of my arm angle.
At any time in your career did somebody say to you, you really need to develop that pitch?
Well, I tried at the end of my career when I was getting my brains beat in, but by then it was too late.
Millage hit a fly ball to center on a 3-2 count, first time up. Very late on that one, and it's 1-1 to Lastings.
Then you could always doctor the baseball. That's proved to be successful for a number of pitchers throughout the years. A little sandpaper, whatever it takes.
Are you advocating that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Shouldn't me? Guys have made millions of dollars with that approach. Help win championships.
It's happened. You're right.
Hey, this is people's livelihoods here.
What's the old saying? If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Yeah. I was always afraid to do it. I feel like I'd get caught.
That could be embarrassing. Cost you some money and a little bit of your reputation, perhaps. Smash by Tejada into left field. A hit for number 85, Ocho Cinco. Lastings Millage makes it first and second.
Because the times have changed, the way people think about all kinds of things have changed in our society. And I don't want to get deep there. But in baseball, there used to be a time where that kind of skullduggery was, if not accepted, at least it was kind of embraced as part of the game. Gaylord Perry,
right,
throwing the spitter, and the guys that would scuff the ball, and guys corking their bats, and if they got caught, they would be suspended, but they weren't looked down upon as criminals.
Right.
And I think nowadays they probably would be to a certain extent. That's part of the lore of the game.
Been happening ever since the game started. People trying to gain an edge. Ryan Cedeno batting.
I think Whitey Ford won all those games.
Oh yeah. He was accused of doctoring.
Don Drysdale. No, Don Drysdale even spoofed it. He did the Vitalis commercials. Remember?
Yeah.
Greasy kid stuff.
And you're right about Gaylord Perry.
Taking a shot of Scotty.
Well, what are we doing here? Well, we're not accusing anybody of anything, of course. There were a lot of numbers up there at one time. But yeah, most guys I think would say, well, my career is really on the line here, and the team really needs me to do these things, and I'll think about it. We might not do it.
Daniel asked for time, didn't get it. Not only that, the pitch that might have been out of the strike zone was called a strike. A double whammy.
Yes.
He's backing off, asking for time.
Well, the umpire's going to say, hey, you didn't present a strike zone for me. You stood up and walked away, so I'll just make up my own strike zone if you're not standing there to give me one. Off the right field line, foul and out of play. 1-2. Well, you read stories, of course, way back through baseball history, back in the early years. A third baseman would go over on a sacrifice fly to the bag and grab the belt of the base runner and hold him there at third base, trying to tag up and score. Things of that nature.
Well, yeah, and the other thing the third baseman do is kind of get in his line of sight as the ball's being caught in the outfield.
Good point.
Either cause him to leave early and then put an appeal play on, or leave late because he can't see the catch, and maybe you catch him at home plate.
Or there'd be guys looking in from the center field scoreboard with binoculars. There'd be a buzzer system to alert the hitter what the pitch was going to be.
Now, that cheating I can't tolerate. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah, there was that story many years ago, maybe 100 years ago. They caught somebody spying with the binoculars from the center field scoreboard, looking through one of those little openings. There was a wire running all the way underground to the third base coaching box. And there was a buzzer on there. Strike 3 to Cedeno. He just had a rough time in that at bat. He's quiet here and respectful, but he wanted to know something from Bill Miller. And now he's still talking from a distance as he backs up and heads to the bench.
Maybe he's still asking for timeout.
Well, he can get it now.
We've seen Cedeno a couple times in this series with that approach, just kind of that incredulous look back. Yeah, not demonstrative, not making a lot of noise, just kind of disbelieving. Are you sure? Do you want to reconsider? You sure about me? Because I'll stay if you want. If you're willing to call it a ball, I'll stay.
That we were joking around about all the no decisions that pitchers have had. That was kind of a no decision for a hitter, I think, at that time. Ramon Vasquez, the batter. And check swing call at third by Jim Joyce. Ball 1 to Vasquez, who struck out in the second inning.
Well, it has come to light that the 51 Giants were cheating.
That's true.
Miraculous run. The Giants win the pennant.
Bobby Thompson had the sign. He knew what pitch was coming. 2 balls, no strikes. We don't hear much anymore about the base runner at second stealing the catcher's sign and then relaying it onto the hitter. Might be happening, but we don't hear much about it.
And that is not cheating. That's just trying to get an edge. If you can pick up the signs, I mean, guys on the bench are always looking at pitchers, seeing if there's a tell in a pitcher's delivery, so they can kind of get a sense of what's coming. But base coaches, everybody's trying to figure that out, trying to peek in at the catcher's signs and the runner on second. So it's up to the pitcher catcher to make sure it doesn't happen. There's a confusing sequence of signs. There's an indicator. There's something that to make sure that the signs are not easily picked up. And of course, the catcher, as he positions himself, has to move late too. Because a lot of times, what hitters just looking for location. If the catcher sets up inside or outside, if the base runner on second, if the guy sets up early, the base runner say, hey, if he sets up outside, I'll put my hand on my helmet, and to look away. If he sets up inside, I can point back to the bag or something like that. Look in.
Vasquez strikes out. He was carping about strike 2 call as well. The Pirates hitters out of sorts here, and that's strikeout number 5. Meanwhile, we have Aflac trivia developing, and here is the question: who had the most hits in the 1930s? Let's see, that was before Bing Crosby.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Let's see. Oh,
what's her name?
I'll go with Bill Terry. Strike 1 to Paul Maholm. long before Doris Day.
Rosemary Clooney was after the 30s.
No balls, 2 strikes. Most hits in the 30s.
Al Capone. A lot of hits. Well, Terry hit 400 one year.
That might be your answer. Paulino strikes out the side to give him 6 in the first 4 innings, and it's 1-0 Pirates. Big time hitters. Paul Wainer, 1,959.
Was he big poison or little poison?
He was, I believe, big poison, and Lloyd Wainer was little poison.
John Wainer is here with the Pirates doing radio.
That's true. His name is not spelled the same way, but nonetheless, somebody left that cotton candy behind. Bottom of the 4th inning, a 1-0 lead for Paul Maholm. Matsui, Berkman, and Lee due to bat for Houston. Maholm has given up 1 hit. Matsui takes strike 1. He hit a fly ball to right field in the first. Caswell today is tying his career high for games played in a season, 114. He also played that many games in 04. Shortstop Cedeno takes care of out number 1.
John Wainer was on that 1992 Pirate Club we were talking about. We're talking about how long it's been. Let's take a look. 17 years it has been for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And you remember what it looked like in 1992. The Clint Eastwood movie Unforgiven was the Oscar winner. Johnny Carson hosted the final Tonight Show. Harrison Mustache, your Rookies of the Year. End of the Road, Boys to Men. I didn't own that one.
No.
It's a long time ago.
That was the end of the road for the Pirates as far as winning seasons. Lance Berkman to right center field. Brandon Moss over. 2 outs.
We were talking about that club earlier, and you were asking about the pitchers. I pulled up the roster. Zane Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Tim Wakefield was there.
That's true. Forgot all about him. That's a very good time.
Stan Belinda in the bullpen. Dennis Lamp.
Just remember him being on that club.
And Dennis. He was 40 that year.
Carlos Lee lined out to center field his first time up. There's strike 1 to Carlos.
Most of this current roster was probably in about the 2nd grade last time the Pirates had a winning season.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pete Orr has hit a 2-run homer for the Nationals. They lead 7-1 at Florida in the 6th, and a delay now. 2-1. Florida is 5 games behind the Phillies right now. Phillies have, let's see, they're 80 and 60. And Ryan Madsen gave it up for them yesterday. So we have no idea who would be their closer today if they get in that situation. It's 3-1 to Carlos Lee. In the wild card now, it's pretty clear cut in the National League with Colorado leading Florida and San Francisco by 5.5. In the American League, Boston leads Texas by 3. Center field coming in, McCutchen, and with that burst of speed, he made it easy then. For a 1-2-3 fourth from Mahalam, who leads it 1-0. Days. Miguel Montero is the man at 429. Then it's James Loney, 424. Hunter Pence, Carlos Ruiz, and Hanley Ramirez. The top 5 in the last 10 days. Andrew McCutchen takes, and there is ball 1. Correct the strikeout total. I was wrong on Paulino. He has struck out 7, not 6, through the first 4. Struck out the side last inning. And now he's at 1-1 on McCutchen, who doubled to lead off the game and has scored the only run on a single by Jones. Then hit a fly ball to right in the 3rd. Line drive to right. Hunter Pence backing. Whoa!
Line drives to the corner outfielders. Yeah, they get in the lights. That can really be annoying. Boy, and that's if he doesn't hang in there and make that catch with McCutchen running.
Yeah. Wow.
Probably might circle the bases.
Right. LaRoche takes, and it's ball 1. It's that bank of lights. J.O. Cruz used to have some problems with some lights in San Diego many years ago. The old Jack Murphy Stadium. 2 balls, no strikes. James Loney has hit all 12 of his homers on the road this year for the Dodgers. Fly ball center, Michael Bourne. 2 outs. J.O. Cruz hit all 12 of his on the road in 1984. Kind of a weird
it's a good
stat.
road home run factoid. You know, he's having a similar year as Nick Swisher for the Yankees. Despite all the home runs in Yankee Stadium, he's hit the majority by far of his on the road. He's hit 3 or 4 at Yankee Stadium, but most of them coming on the road. It's kind of peculiar.
It is. Garrett Jones has the only RBI in this game. 6 hits for the Buccos, 1 for the Astros. They strike 1 at Jones. He took a big cut at the fastball. Another first pitch fastball for the 2nd straight at bat. Astros were out hit 9-4 last night and won. That's unusual in a major league game. And they're out hit 6-1 so far in this one. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's 1-2 as Paulino shoots for win number 3 of the year. Tomorrow night, the Cincinnati series opens with Wandy Rodriguez matched with Bronson Arroyo. 5:30 for Astros Live. Fox Sports Houston tomorrow night from the Queen City.
Arroyo has turned his season around. It's pretty good in the second half.
Yes.
Way to go, young man.
Not too excited, is he?
He's 3 excited.
2 balls, 2 strikes. This is the next to last road trip of the year for the Astros, starting tomorrow night. Only 1 more homestand. Cardinals and Reds are coming in.
I haven't seen the Reds in a while.
No. They've had a lot of injuries. Kansas City leads Cleveland 6-0. We'll have to see who's pitching because it's a 1-hitter for the Kansas City pitcher through 7.
I don't think it's Greinke. I think he worked just a couple of days ago.
Okay.
That's immediately who you think of when you see a Royal game like that.
Absolutely. Greinke is the ERA leader right now in the American League, 2.19. Felix Hernandez second, 2.61. That's ball 4 to Jones. He's on with a 2-out walk. That's the first walk of the game for Paulino. Mahalam has only 1.
Last night the Astros walked just 2. And then 1 intentional. Bud Norris in his start 2 nights ago, 6 innings, 1 walk. Oswalt, he only pitched 2 innings. Wandy 7 innings, 2 walks. So the pitching has been awfully good on this homestand. Roy had that ugly one, but for the most part, it's been very good. Got him.
He was leaning and he's picked off. Jones has gone down. Paulino to Berkman to end the top of the 5th inning from 1-3. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Jones couldn't get back in time and still 1-0 Pirates. Mahalam, who has stifled the Astros on 1 hit. Cedeno can't stop it. It's on through into center field for Tejada on the hot grounder. Cedeno trying to play it off to the left. It looked as if he was going to be able to get it in his glove at least, and then try to spin around and make a throw. Got on through.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a tricky hop, but a play that should have been made. should be an error.
A ruling hit.
It's a generous ruling.
Yep. Hit number 2 for the Astros. Did come up on Cedeno. Hunter Pence is the batter. He flied to left earlier. Little chop. Cedeno charging. Goes out Pence. 1 out. Tejada to second.
And that final weekend of the season has the Reds in town. The final home game Sunday, September 27th, 1:05 game. If you're one of the first 10,000 fans, you'll take home the 2009 team poster, courtesy of the good folks at Academy Sports and Outdoors. It's Fan Appreciation Day that day. Great prizes will be given away every inning, courtesy of the Astros sponsorship partners. A list of prizes, or to get your tickets, visit Astros.com. Always a fun day at the ballpark. Somebody's going to take a car home that weekend.
Oh, yeah. Chris Johnson has a runner at second and 1 out. He grounded back to the pitcher earlier. Ball 1.
I don't want to take a hit away from Miggy, but Major League shortstops expected to make that play.
It looked like he would be making that play when the ball left the bat. It's hit number 169 for Miggy.
So apparently the drama in the press box right now down below us is who will score first today, the Astros or the Texans?
Oh, okay. Hadn't honed in on that yet, so there's quite a bit of speculation.
that's the office pool du jour. Yep. If you had the Texans, you win.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
They have to come up with something else to keep their interest down.
They are. Paul Maholm trying to square his record at 8-8. He's had 12 quality starts this season. 28. He only has 5 wins.
12 isn't very good, is it?
No.
28?
No, it's not. Ground ball. Cedeno to his left. Goes out Johnson. 2 outs. Out of the third.
Well, Michael Bourne reached third base in the first inning. Left stranded there. Bourne and Tejada, the only Astros in scoring position today. They haven't had many chances. Last night, very efficient with the two-run home runs. See if Q can deliver here.
Jason Michaels is on deck. Pitcher spot due up next. Q delivered a single and then was thrown out trying to stretch it to a double in the third. Hastings Millage once again is over where he was earlier in left center field on Q. Q's not a pull hitter.
If Q reaches, well, yeah, I guess if you're Polino, you take that deal. If he gets a base hit, especially, that would tie the ball game. A lot of times, as a starting pitcher, you're in this position. You're almost hoping the guy makes an out because you get to pitch another inning. If your spot's the on deck spot.
No balls, 2 strikes. Chatting with Cecil Cooper, we were talking about the Astros starting pitchers. Would he look to get them out of games a little bit sooner for the remainder of the season? He said, well, generally, yes, because of the innings. Cedeno to his left. On to first, and it's no runs a hit. A runner stranded at third base. Maholm and the Pirates lead it 1-0 after 5.
Our progressive fans of the game, we got Brent and Carmen. And Carmen's going to defend a comment that JD made yesterday about athletes from Idaho, because Carmen is from Idaho. I know, Carmen, you took offense to that, didn't you?
Oh, I had great offense to that. No, I did grow up in Idaho, and there's many great athletes from Idaho, like Mark Schlereth. He played football at the University of Idaho, where I went to school.
So JD might need to check his facts a little bit. Now, you guys are from Dallas now. But you're Astro fans. What's up with that?
We lived here from 94 to 03, started coming to the games then, bought season tickets, and even after we moved up there, just couldn't stop, had to keep coming back.
From Idaho to Houston to Dallas, and nothing can keep you away from Houston, right?
There you go.
All right, JD, you better, like I said, make a little apology here to Carmen, but these are our progressive fans of the game nonetheless. Thanks so much, guys.
I want to review the tape, because I don't think I was dismissive of Idahoans. I just said there weren't a whole lot of them.
Yeah. So it was more quantity, not quality.
Yeah. But I did get an email from my buddy Steve Meats pointing out that Don Larson, he of the perfect game in the World Series, is from Idaho. Perhaps they're aware of that fact.
We're probably going to get a lot of Idahoans that are going to be Facebooking and Twittering into Greg.
Thank you, Patty.
All right.
Ryan Doman. Patty's been all over town today. She was at the Texas game. There's a strikeout of Doman. Wesley Wright has entered the game and starts in a very good fashion in relief of Felipe Paulino, who in 5 innings allowed 6 hits, 1 run.
Another positive outing for Paulino this afternoon. He's on the wrong end of the decision right now, but 5 solid innings, and now Wesley will get a turn. Due up to lead off the inning, so it'll probably be 1 and done for him.
Moss grounds out. He's 1 and done. And he's 1 for 3.
So the way this works, and we'll look at the numbers on Wesley, 38th appearance now, 3-2 with a 5.50. But the way this works is the starter toils for 5 innings, gives up a run, and comes out and is on the wrong side of it. Now Wesley will work to put 1-2-3 inning, and the Astros will score 5 runs in the bottom of the 6th, and he'll get the W.
Jeff Fulcino got the win last night. Fly ball, Hunter Pence in right field. 5 more, 12 for 6. Maybe it'll work that way. We'll find out soon. As Wesley Wright has had a quick 6th inning, 1-0 Pittsburgh. Run while Paulino was in the game. Now Jason Michaels is pinch hitting, taking strike 1. Well, Wesley Wright, who had a hitless inning with a strikeout. Doug Brocail working in the bullpen. 242 for Michaels, 4 homers, 16 driven in.
Felipe would love to get wins, obviously, but most importantly, he just needs to show Astros management that he's the man for the job heading into 2010. In the last 3 starts, he's been able to do that. I'm not going to guarantee him anything, but if he continues to pitch like this for the rest of this month, it's really going to put him in good shape heading into spring training.
Michaels has a pretty good consecutive game playing streak as a pinch hitter right now. And he's walked 5 times in his last 8 pinch hit appearances. Fouling that one back. 2 balls, 2 strikes to J. Mike. He's 5 for 9 with 5 walks in his last 14 trips as a pinch hitter. Overall, 12 pinch hits to lead the club, and he has 50 at-bats off the bench. Good quick inning for Wesley Wright. Jeff Fulcino got win number 6 last night with a quick 7th inning in relief of Brian Moeller, who went 6.
Wesley Wright apparently is going to go to winter ball, with an eye towards competing for a starting job in the rotation next year. Gonna polish up his changeup a little bit.
Michaels lines one foul. Paulino threw 95 pitches, 58 for strikes. She is ecstatic. Michaels draws another pinch walk. He is the pinch walk specialist on this club.
Leading off this inning, that's exactly what the Astros needed. A little traffic, get things started. More at-bats. Seeing the ball a little bit better.
That fella's a hero.
He can play a little bit.
Yeah, he can. Michael Bourne struck out in the 3rd. Earlier he walked and stole a base, advanced as far as 3rd base in the 1st inning. The Astros have had 2 runners to 3rd in this game. Mahalam throwing over on Michaels.
Maybe LaRoche had been playing in at 3rd base with Bourne hitting, and now anticipating a possible sack is in even closer at 3rd base.
Hit on that.
Yeah, I got to make sure you get a strike. It's unfortunate there. Cott trying to defend himself and pull the bat back, and not able to get the bat out of the strike zone.
Matsui's on deck. Takes high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Michael has put down 4 sacrifice bunts.
I'd rather see him bunt for a hit in this situation if he were going to bunt. You get a successful sacrifice down here. A man on 2nd and 1 out. And you got Matsui, who has been swinging it well lately. But you got right-handed Lance following him. It'd be different if you had left-handed Lance.
Strike 1 and 2.
Called buckled Michael's knees.
Yeah.
From that angle, looked like a pretty good pitch.
And Bill Miller having a little chat right now about that one. Michael is the hardest player to double up in the National League. Now he strikes out looking.
Kind of a lost AB there. Bunted at that first pitch that was way inside. Didn't try to get the bunt down on the fastball. And then just gets locked up by this breaking pitch. Because even if you have Michael, because he is so hard to double up, so if you don't have him bunting throughout this at bat, just let him swing. If he hits it on the ground, it's probably not going to be doubled off. Then he could steal second. You'd end up in the same position, only with a faster guy on second base. And it's not a given that he's going to be able to steal the base. It's not that easy.
Kazuo Matsui is fly to right and bounced to short. There's ball one.
Kind of become an anti-sacrifice bunt guy, probably to a fault. There's times when it makes a lot of sense.
Well, we look back through and on all the Astros sacrifices the other night in the pregame show, and fewer than half the times when they sacrifice in an inning do they score runs. And then that is to say nothing of all the times the sacrifice was unsuccessful. And they bunt into a forced play or don't get the bunt down, pop it up, something like that. Strike, and it's 1-1. Today we're chatting with skipper Cecil Cooper about the double plays this club has grounded into this year. 135. He's well aware of it. Tops in the league. Line drive left field goes foul.
Yeah, that has to be maddening from his position in that dugout to watch all those double plays, see those rallies fizzle.
We talked about that, and we wanted to know who else was up there. And I was kind of surprised the Dodgers have hit into 127. But then we talked about the fact that the Astros do not strike out very much. That leads to hitting into more double plays sometimes.
And they hit the ball on the ground more than any other team in the National League.
Yep.
And, so one way to combat that is to start more base runners, but they don't have a lot of team speed. So you're kind of trapped.
You pretty well have to change the group of players if that's what you've determined is going to be the future trend. Lance Berkman on deck. In the hole, and it sneaks through into left field. A hit for Matsui. Getting Michaels to second, and it's first and second for Lance Berkman now. Jack in the Box standings will show you the minor league MVPs in the Astros system. It was Tommy Manzella and Round Rock, Drew Locke in Corpus Christi, Colby Clemens of Lancaster, Brian Pellegrini in Lexington, Barrett Butera at Tri-City, Jose Altuve at Greenville.
Congratulations, one and all. Those guys will be honored at a pregame ceremony on that final homestand. Big thrill for those guys to come to the big leagues, be honored pregame.
Yeah, it's always fun to see them here, getting those awards, looking around the clubhouse, checking things out for the future. Lance Berkman is 0 for 2. In the dirt for ball one. Doman came up on that, but he reached down and dug it out. Carlos Lee on deck with the Astros trailing 1-0 in the 6th. Bouncer in the hole. Cedeno jump throw to second, and then that's it. Athletic play by Cedeno to get it on to Vasquez for the force play on Matsui. Now runners at first and third for Carlos Lee with 2 outs.
Now, I thought he might go to third base to get the force there, but he felt like he could still get a double play, so he opted to go back across his body to second. Almost made an errant throw.
Now Cedeno repositions with El Caballo batting. He's 0 for 2, 2 fly balls to center field. Astros could really use a big 2-out hit right here from Lee. He's on a 5-game hitting streak. Tejada on deck. Line to third and caught there by LaRoche for the third out. And it's no runs a hit, 2 men stranded after 6, 1-0 Pirates. For our Dodge Grab Live feature, here's Lance Berkman on why he rooted for the American League growing up.
One of my best buddies growing up was a huge Astros fan, and so to be contrary, I told him I liked the American League better, and told him I liked the Yankees, and it'd make him so mad, and we'd have these big arguments about whether the National League or the American League was better, and most of it was just to kind of get after him.
Interesting now, because a lot of people do think the American League is better.
Pot stirrer.
Lance probably would disagree with that. Doug Brocail's in the game. And throwing ball 1 to Ronnie Cedeno. Cedeno's 0 for 2. Brocail 1-0 with a 3.97 ERA.
He came in the other night and just made an absolutely spectacular play on a bunt attempt.
Yeah, he did. Against the Atlanta Braves Thursday night, and it looked like he got hurt. As Doug pitched a scoreless 9th inning. On through into right field, a hit for Cedeno. Number 7 for the Buccos. Their first hit since the 4th. They had back-to-back singles, but then Paulino struck out the next 3.
Ramon Vasquez walks up there. He's punched out twice today in the 2nd and 4th, swinging both times. And now we'll see how the Pirates choose to play it in the 7th inning. They've got a 1-run lead. Mulholland comes out on deck. So if he's going to hit, Vasquez is not going to bunt.
Pirates do not have anybody warming up at the moment.
6 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball. Mulholland has earned the right to stay in this game.
Yankees lead the Orioles 5-3 in the top of the 8th at Yankee Stadium. CC Sabathia went the first 7 against Jeremy Guthrie.
Sabathia's having a pretty good year, isn't he?
He sure is. Ball 1. The recent Sports Illustrated had some opinions from some scouts that would indicate that the American League is superior to the National. And then somebody asked the scout about, well, the National League's won about half the last 8 World Series. He said, well, that's a crapshoot.
Yeah, I saw that same article, and some of the things that were said in it made sense. Others I thought was a little bit of a reach. They talk about the interleague play. There's probably all different ways to break that down depending on who's playing who in any given year. But clearly the American League has had the advantage in interleague play. And then the All-Star argument I don't buy at all. This is one game. It's kind of goofy. How the American League is dominated. But years ago, the National League dominated in a similar way. I guess the one argument that is probably the most convincing was the Kansas City Royals' success
Yeah.
in interleague play. They've been so bad in the American League, but they've had a winning record against the National League clubs.
Vasquez takes a walk, first and second now, nobody out. And Mahalam with Dewey Robinson coming out will be up in a bunting situation.
And they pointed anecdotally to a number of individual players. Here's the play we were talking about the other day about Grove. He's just incredible. 42-year-old guy bouncing off that hill. I mean, he's not, that's not Mike Hampton, 5'10", former D-back. That's a big burly man out there making that play.
Sure is.
We talk a lot about hitters giving the extra effort going down the line when they sniff a hit. As a pitcher, when you're sniffing out, the guy tries to drop a butt down on you, you take it personally.
Yeah.
But they talk about some of the individuals that have moved from the American League. They were kind of scuffling a little bit and came to the National League and started to tear it up. I imagine you can find examples of players that come the opposite way.
Oh, sure. Mahalam up there to bunt, takes ball one. He's 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, 5 sacrifice bunts this year from Mahalam. Brocail pitched Tuesday and Thursday in the Braves series. Worked here last Friday against the Phillies a week ago. Berkman charging and close. And there's the ball.
That's incredible. He's got to time it, you got to be careful if Broke holds the ball too long. He's coming so aggressively, he could run into the path of the pitch.
Yeah.
But clearly, down a run here in the 7th inning, they want to be aggressive to try to nail that lead runner. So the game plan here is to have Chris Johnson try to stay home for a potential force play. They'll try to keep Cedeno close at second.
Brocail comes over.
Nothing you can do about that. First base becomes the only option.
Patty Smith is standing by. Patty.
All right, Astros fans, we have extended our Price Matter Days presented by HEB. We've added more dates to cash in on this great deal in September. You can score a ticket, a hot dog, chips, and a soda for just $10. That's an incredible deal. Baseball and a meal for just $10. To purchase your tickets, visit Astros.com, guys.
Time called by Quintero. He goes out with runners at second and third and McCutchen batting. McCutchen 1 for 3. Sammy Hervasio is warming up at the pen for Houston. Braves lead the Cardinals 7-0 at the end of 7 in St. Louis. The Braves trying to sweep that 3-game series. Javier Vasquez apparently pitching as well there as he did here. 7 innings of 2-hit shutout ball with no walks and 7 strikeouts. And Chris Carpenter got torched, giving up 9 hits and 7 earned runs in 6 innings.
Wow.
Cecil Cooper will go to Hervasio here. Brocail leaving with runners at first and second and 1 out. In a 1-0 game. Back in a moment. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. Well, look at that. Beautiful work. There is an artist at work. Is that Robin he's drawing? It's Frank Trevino. So he's out in right field then. There's Frank. Frank
looked out a deal. Hey, draw my picture. I'll put you on TV.
Yeah. Frank's kind of lonely out there down the right field line.
That's pretty darn impressive.
Very nice. See, Frank, you do like it in right field. Lawrence McCutcheon takes, or Andrew McCutcheon, there's strike one. McCutcheon is 1 for 3. Sammy Hervasio just in the game. Inherits runners at second and third, the infield end. He's 1-0 with a 0.73 ERA.
Cecil Cooper made this move to Hervasio because of his delivery with the right-hander coming up. He probably feels like he's got a better chance of getting the strikeout with Hervasio out there than he does with Grote. So far, he's looking pretty smart. No balls and 2 strikes. See if he can finish him off.
Hervasio worked a hitless inning Friday night against the Bucks. Tim Burdack warming up right now. He did not face McCutcheon in that game. Right there, strike 3. Big out for the Astros. Hervasio gets out number 2.
Not sure what McCutcheon was looking for, but obviously fooled. You can see him buckle that front side. Bill Miller had to have a chat with Hervasio. As Roach worked his way at the home plate, I think telling him to make sure you come set, make sure you come to a stop before you deliver. And that's good umpiring. Rather than just call a silly balk to force in a run, just go out and let the pitcher know. Because Sammy's got all that kind of funky stuff going on, the way he taps his front foot. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. There's a lot of movement before he ultimately pitches, and you have to come to a complete stop at some point.
Right call there, makes it 1-1. Hervasio very effective. Cecil Cooper was talking about him before the game today, and he was asked, well, is it because of the hitter's unfamiliarity with him? He said partly, but he's just really done a nice job. And then we talked about left-handed hitters. He hasn't seen too many lefty hitters, but he thinks that if he uses his changeup, he'll be fine against lefties. 34,405 paid attendance. 1-2.
The thing about a guy like Hervasio, because he does have that unique delivery, you think, well, the more the league season, the better they're going to be. They'll be able to make the adjustment, and there's some validity to that. But as a relief pitcher who works an inning at a time or so, it's going to take a good long while before the hitters get a lot of looks at him.
True. Little chop of shortstop, charged by Tejada. Nice job by Hervasio, striking out McCutcheon, getting the Roach on a grounder. No runs, a hit, 2 men stranded in scoring position, 1-0 Pirates. And now the fans will join in the singing of God Bless America.
As we pause to honor our great country with the singing of God Bless America.
Welcome back to Minute Maid Park. I'm out here with the Manzellas, Tommy Manzella Sr., his sisters Monica and Mindy, and we've been trying to talk to you all week. I know it's been kind of a whirlwind, but what has this week been like for you watching Tommy out there making his debut?
It's great, just to be here for the last 6 days, just to see him get on that field, and whether it be in a pitch running situation and when he came in to pinch hit the other night and got his first hit, and then he took the field for an inning. That was great. It was a good feeling. I felt very, very proud.
I know, like I said, it's been a whirlwind. We have been following him every step of the way. We're doing a special on the whole thing with the cameras in his face, and we were there when he made that call to you that he got called up. I know it was a very emotional call from him. What was that like for you to hear those words?
Yeah, it was very emotional. It was like I guess you would call it a bittersweet call. You're proud to have him up there and proud of him, all the hard work that he's done. And in the same respect, his mother, is hopefully watching us overhead, and not to be here with her is very, very emotional. But he's handling it real well. We got through it after the call, and we got to go forward.
And Mindy, little sister over here, your big brother's out there. Pretty neat to see him out there in a Major League uniform.
Yeah, it's definitely surreal, and it's awesome to see him accomplishing all of his goals.
Yeah, you look pretty proud out here.
Yeah.
And Dad, how has Tommy been handling everything?
He's been doing real well. He surprised me with it. I'll see him maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. He's got a busy schedule, and he's really relaxed. He would handle a lot better than I would handle a situation like that.
All right, well, you've done a good job then. Obviously, he's doing the right things. Thanks so much, and we look forward to what he's going to do for the Houston Astros in the future, guys.
Thank you, Patty. One single by Tejada gave the Astros a good start. Then Hunter Pence grounded into a 5-4-3 double play. Now Paul Maholm with his 1-0 lead has 2 outs in the 7th inning, facing Chris Johnson. Played alongside Tommy Manzella at Round Rock. Chris 0 for 2 today.
Well, CJ got the first big league hit a couple of days ago. How about first Major League home run? It'd be a good time for it. Have this ball game up.
That would be a fantastic time for it. He has good power.
Not that pitch.
1-1.
That's how pitchers make their living right there. 2-seamer. Outside black on the knees.
Paul Maholm pitching a beauty. It's 2 balls, 1 strike. He has doled out only 4 singles to the Astros. 3 Astros have reached third base against Maholm. Fields a comebacker. Faces only 3 in the 7th inning. 1-0 Pirates. Tonight it's game 2 of the series. Houston native Kip Wells opposing Roy Oswalt, who is 23-1 against Cincinnati. Wednesday night it's Justin Lair. He's 4-2 for the Reds. The Astros are to be announced for that game. They have pushed Bud Norris back to Friday in Milwaukee.
Well, with the extra arms in the bullpen, they could even do a bullpen day that day if need be.
True.
With Wandy and Roy scheduled like the first 2 games of that series, hopefully you'll have a fairly rested bullpen come Wednesday. Burdack, the most appearances he's ever made in a major league season. A nice scoreless streak. Since stretch early on in the season when lefties for whatever reason gave him some problems, he's turned that around. Since early June they're hitting just 105 against him.
His scoreless streak of 13 1/3 innings is tied for 4th longest active in the majors. His teammate Jose Valverde has the longest with 16 innings. No balls, 2 strikes as Jones gives a lefty on lefty matchup. He has the only RBI in this game, a first inning single to right off Paulino. 1-2. Doug Brocail in 1/3 of an inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs, had 1 walk, no strikeouts. Sammy Hervasio was very good, 2/3 of an inning, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 1 strikeout.
The Astros come back and win this game. Sammy Hervasio will be a big part of it. He was on 2nd and 3rd when he came in with just 1 out.
Johnson at 3rd. He gets a hustling Garrett Jones. 1 out. Tonight's Geico quote comes from Tommy Manziel talking about his first week in the majors. At first, you're just happy to be here. But about the 6th inning of the first game, you start thinking, man, I just want to play.
Yeah, those are the guys you want. You don't want the guys that are just happy to be here and they just kind of hang out. You want guys that are a little nervous in that dugout, pacing around, kind of looking for some action.
And Dome at the switch hitter bats right and takes ball 1. He's 1 for 3. Another word on Hervasio, JD. He's retired the first batter 14 of 16 times. He's inherited 11 runners, allowing only 1 to score.
Yeah, he's been nails. He really has. Talked last night about the good work Jeff Fulcino has done this year and how that should set him up for next year. Same could be said for Hervasio. You know, you think about Fulcino, Hervasio, Alberto Arias, guys that have come to the big leagues and pitched well this year and really helped them set themselves up for 2010. He's doing a Hervasio impersonation, I think.
Okay, it might be. A lot of guys might be doing a Hervasio impersonation with the results Sammy's getting. 2 balls, 1 strike to Domet. Red Sox won game 1 of their twin bill. This fly ball heads for left field. Carlos Lee does too, deep into the bullpen area and up into that archway. That's a home run for Domet, number 9. 2-0 Pirates with Domet driving in his 29th of the year. Very big run for the Buccos.
And Astros with just 6 outs to play with, now down 2. So that's the first run Tim's given up in a good while. Domet, just a big chunk of this season due to injury. He's an interesting player. A catcher, switch hits for power. Still a young guy. Keep an eye on.
Well, last time Burdack surrendered a run was way back on August 8th. He had 18 appearances covering 13 1/3 innings coming into this game without giving up a run. Brendan Moss smacks 1 to center field. Michael Bourne back. 2 outs. Hastings Millage with that. Burdack is due up 2nd in the bottom of the inning. Quintero to lead it off. Jeff Fulcino's warming up for Houston.
Those home runs tend to stay with you. Still out there calling himself stupid. If he's chastising the selection or just the execution of the pitch.
Strike to McCutchen. McCutchen's 1 for 4. Or Millage, rather. Millage is 1 for 3. He got a hit in the 4th inning. Red Sox with that win in Game 1 of the Twin Bill, beating Tampa Bay 3-1, dropped the Rays to their 10th straight loss. 1-1. Matt Garza took the loss for the Rays, even though he pitched well. And for Boston, Clay Buchholz got a no decision. Hideki Okajima the winner in relief, with Jonathan Papelbon getting his 36th save. 2 balls, 1 strike. Cedeno's on deck. Pirates are trying to snap a 13-game losing streak on the road. Foul back, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. They'll be in Los Angeles tomorrow night with Daniel McCutchen opposing John Garland. Mets are in Philadelphia tonight. Tim Redding and Pedro Martinez squaring off. Fly ball on the infield. Johnson handles out number 3. The Doman home run, his 9th of the year, makes it 2-0 Pirates in the 8th. Batting for Humberto Quintero. Quintero was 1 for 2. Pitcher spot will come up next. Paul Maholm trying to square his record at 8-8, has a 2-0 lead. Line drive to right field, a hit for Keppinger. There's a start for the Astros. Keppinger coming in off the bench to deliver.
Jason Michaels pinch hit in the 6th inning and got things started with a leadoff walk. The Astros did not score in that inning. That's the closest they've been. Carlos Lee lined out to third with a man on third to end that inning. And here's a good start. Keppinger handles lefties so well, gets things started with a knock, and that means Jeff Blum will get a turn.
Keppinger, a pinch hitter, is now 5 for 9. Blum probably will be in the starting lineup tomorrow night at Cincinnati, recovered from his injuries. Had to leave the Wednesday game with the Braves with a left shin contusion and a mild ankle sprain. He's missed the last 3. He took a look down at Dave Clark. Jeff, a .261 hitter with 9 homers, has 45 runs batted in. As a pinch hitter, he's 1 for 8 with an RBI. And there is strike 1. Tim Burdack in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, 1 run with no walks, no strikeouts. Jeff Pulcino had been warming up. Blum's had a good season as a right-handed batter, .357 for 28 at bats.
You look at the pitchers used, and you would think this is a blowout. Astros have used 5 different guys. Maholm's been in there the whole way for the Pirates. 1 swing of the bat, and we're tied.
Blum facing him for the first time in his career. 2-1. Yeah, the way the Pirates are going, you know, that might be in somebody's mind. Jesse Chavez is warming up in their bullpen, along with Phil DeMatre, a lefty. Michael Bourne on deck. Phillies beat the Mets 5-4 in game 1 of that doubleheader with Kyle Kendrick the winner, John Mayne the loser. Brad Lidge got his 29th save. 3 balls, a strike. Domit out to talk with Mahalam. Mahalam is at 87 pitches for the day.
Major League Baseball and the players are donating tickets to upcoming Astros games as part of the MLB and Players Give Back program. As awards for their contributions, charities, civic and service groups, churches and schools are invited to attend a game, and all the tickets are free. How about that? Call the Astros at 713-259-8500.
Double play ball here. LaRoche to second, Vasquez to first.
There it is again. The dreaded double play ball. Paul Mahalam spent a lot of ground ball outs this afternoon. Plummer with that banged up leg. Jeff's not a speedy guy anyway, and with an injured leg, doesn't get down the line very quickly at all.
14 ground ball outs. Jones with the stretch, 2 double plays in 2 innings. Now the Astros have bounced into 137 of those in 143 games. Michael Bourne with strike 1.
Now let me give you that phone number again, folks. 713-259-8500. That's free group tickets to Astros games.
What was that number again?
713-259-8500. Call now. Operators are standing by. Order now, and you'll receive. No, you won't. Just get the free tickets. That's all you need. You don't need the Ginsu knives.
Well, we'll get the set of JD apron with the Ginsu knives with JD carving.
The chamois. Chamois, I guess. Chamois.
Chamois, yeah. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kansas City blank Cleveland 7-0 on a 2-hitter. Kyle Davies the winner. Carlos Carrasco. John Bucket his 7th homer. Bourne to left center. McCutchen is turning. Extra bases for Michael. He heads for second. Stops there with a 2-out double. 26th 2-base hit for Michael Bourne.
I pointed out earlier in the ballgame how shallow the Pirate outfielders playing left and center, Millage and McCutchen, and whether Michael will be able to drive it over their heads or not. This time he does. In a 1-run game, they're probably deeper, and that's probably an out. Because 1-run game, they would have been playing no doubles to keep him out of scoring position. Here they're playing their normal depth, and he's able to drive over McCutchen's head.
First extra base hit for the Astros today. They've been shut out 11 times this year. Mahalam faces Matsui next. Matsui's 1 for 3. Matsui's hitting better from the right side this season.
I was pointing out earlier about the Astros not being able to score in that 6th when they had a pretty good chance. Michael's got things started with that leadoff walk. They've had the leadoff man on base pretty much all day. 1st, 3rd, 5th, 6th, 7th, and now 8th.
Toward the right field corner for Matsui, and it's a foul ball there. 1-1. Yeah, that's usually a positive sign, but not translated into runs today. Pirates will have the bottom of their order due up in the 9th. Cedeno Vasquez and the pitcher's spot. A shot to center field. McCutchen cruising back. And for the Astros in the 8th, it's no runs, 2 hits and a man. Stranded. Frustrating game for them offensively. The Pirates lead 2-0 through 8. Daniel Vasquez and the pitcher spot due up. Jeff Keppinger, after pinch hitting for Humberto Quintero, has stayed in to play second base. He's in the 8th spot in the order. Chris Coast is the catcher, taking over for Quintero behind the plate. The pitcher's Jeff Fulcino. He is hurler number 6 for the Astros with a 6-4 record.
51st time Big Jeff is taking the bump this year. Win number 6 came last night. Worked a scoreless 7th inning. The Astros put a 2-spot on the board in the bottom half of the inning. That made him a winner for the 6th time in 2009. He can be the lucky charm again here this afternoon.
Ronnie Cedeno is the first man to face him. He's 1 for 3. Calls it back. There's strike 1.
Fastball, slider, split finger pitch. The pitches that the big fella features.
Only 5 pitchers have more wins than Jeff Fulcino in the National League among relievers. Up the middle, backhanded Keppinger. Good play. That was a good strong arm at second base there.
Play all of the infield positions. See, he's pinching that way a little bit, so he has plenty of time to set up and make a good strong throw.
Pirates are warming up their closer, Matt Capps. And they're preparing to pinch hit for Mahalam, who is swinging the bat on deck. Ramon Vasquez is 0 for 2 with a walk. Showing bunt. There's ball 1. Cubs lead Cincinnati 3-0. They've played 5.5 at Chicago with Ted Lilly pitching well. Smack past the diving Berkman up the right field line. It kicks out to Hunter Pence. Vasquez will be held to a sharp single. Throw to first. Gets away. And now Vasquez will still not be able to get to second. And Keppinger thought maybe he could get him as he rounded the bag too far. But his throw was wide of Lance Berkman. No harm done. No error.
Boy, was that ever perfectly played by Hunter Pence out in right field. Kind of had to wait to see whether that ball was going to go all the way to the corner or hit that little cutout part of the stands, and he just kind of established a position, played the angle perfectly. After the big turn, Keppinger takes a shot at first base. Fortunately, it stayed in play.
Now the pinch hitter for Mahalam is Delwyn Young. The switch hitter has been playing some second base this year for the Pirates. He looks at strike 1. Mahalam had quite a day of it. 8 innings, allowing 6 hits, no runs. He walked 2, fanned a couple.
The Braves paid a price when they pulled Tommy Hanson after 8 shutout innings. The Astros beat the Braves in the bottom of the 9th.
This one skips by Coast, but comes back to him, and now he's got a shot. He throws, and he suckers him into an out. Vasquez was indecisive.
I don't know. You know, it's one thing to take a couple of steps and stop. Vasquez was 3/4 of the way there. I mean, this ball goes by Costa. He comes back to him. I mean, you could not have planned this any better the way that Karen came back to him. And Vasquez, I mean, once you're as far off as he was, you just keep on going.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever seen a ball like that in this park come right back to the catcher, JD.
No. Well, certainly not since that signage went up. I remember a couple when there was just brick back there. And you always had to be wary of that, the ball kicking straight back to the catcher if the man was on third base. We've seen guys come down the line and have to slam on the brakes. But since that signage went back up there, I don't recall seeing a play like that.
2-6 play for out number 2.
Obviously, Fulcino and Costa worked hard on that play. You don't just pull that off without hours of practice.
It's not a caught stealing. It's just a 2-6 play for out number 2. He's not running on the pitch. He tried to go on what could have been a wild pitch. Didn't work out for him. 2 hopper to Keppinger. No runs a hit, nobody left. 2-0 Pirates. Caps coming in for the bottom of the ninth. A lot of folks have passed through Union Station on this homestand, and they have seen some outstanding baseball. They've seen some last-at-bat wins, heroic comebacks late. Now they hope they could see one more in the final game of this homestand. The Pirates go with their closer, Matt Capps. He has not pitched in a save situation since he got his 24th save August 27th.
Capps 3-8 this year, 24 out of 28 save opportunities, a high ERA, and just a little under 6. Struck out 40, walked 15, he's allowed 9 home runs. And generally a guy who really attacks the strike zone. Typically keeps the fastball down around the knees. Complements it with a good sharp slider.
Lance Berkman, Carlos Lee, Miguel Tejada grew up against him. Fastball's a good one, but it's ball 1 as far as the velocity on it. Berkman 0 for 3. Berkman is 3 for 6 in his career against Capps with 2 walks. Capps falls behind. 2 balls, no strikes.
Last year, Capps walked just 5 men in 53 2/3 innings. This year, 15 walks, but the number that really jumps out at me is the 9 home runs allowed, 47 in the 3rd innings. It's a pretty high home run ratio for a guy you want out there finishing off games.
Hasn't pitched since September 9th against the Cubs. High to center field. McCutchen back in. Looking up and up off the conical bumper just below it, and Berkman is going to stop at second base. Boy, that was a towering blast. Looked like McCutchen thought it would be a home run, but Berkman is looking out. And so far, the ruling is it did not go for home run distance. We'll see if that's reviewed.
Yeah, the coach's going to come out and ask for a review. It was so high, it was very difficult to see where it hit. Initially, I thought McCutchen had misplayed the ball by giving up on it to play the carom. I thought maybe he could have gone to the wall, gone up and made a catch on that ball. But it's just very difficult. We're going to look at it here. Yeah, well, he wouldn't have caught it. But that's a home run.
Yes. The umpires are discussing it.
This is it's deja vu all over again, as we're going to have another Lance Berkman home run review. Now Cousins is going to rule the home run with no review.
Now we'll see if John Russell, yes, John Russell is coming out of the dugout. Now it's a 2-1 game with nobody out in the bottom of the 9th inning. Could this be happening again for Astros fans?
Well, we talked about Capps and his proclivity to give up home runs. That's number 10, 47 innings. And the Puma is back in a big way. That's a Puma home run there, dead central. high towering drive, a great backspin carrying it. Boy, 6 inches to the left, and it's in play. About a foot and a half lower, and it's in play. And that's a home run, and they're not going to look at it.
Third home run of the homestand for Lance. Now Carlos Lee. There's strike one on the breaking pitch.
I didn't. Who initially made the call?
Didn't ever see one.
So I wonder what happened in Darryl Cousins' mind, why he decided to change that to a home run.
That's a really good question. There's number 21 for Berkman. Now a line shot left field toward the corner, but it's only going to be a single for Lee. He will have to put on the brakes. Millage is able to get 2 balls like that with his speed, so he can play over toward the alley, but still, when that ball comes off the wall, he can hold Lee to a single. That's a 6-game hitting streak for Lee now.
And Carlos was busting it down the line, giving himself a chance, but hit so sharply, and with Millage's speed, he wisely dropped anchor and settled into first base. Big man's going for it.
Now it is for pinch runner Tommy Manzella. Lee out of the game, presenting the potential tying run. Manzella, the pinch runner at first. Manzella made his major league debut as a pinch runner. He's getting loose now for Miguel Tejada.
We've talked a lot today about the double plays. The Astros victimized by a couple of them, squashing potential big innings, or at least run-scoring innings in the 7th and 8th. And Miggy, who's grounded into more double plays than anybody in the National League, comes up there. But a little different catch is not a ground ball pitcher. You're not as concerned. You're always concerned about it. Not as much of a catch out there as you were with Mahalan.
Tejada has 2 hits, 1 a bunt single. Hunter Pence on deck. The Astros had a walk-off win in the bottom of the 9th a week ago last night against the Phillies. And another walk-off win against the Braves on Wednesday. And strike one to Tejada.
It's a big pitch for Caps, because if he falls behind in the count, the Astros may think about playing a little hit and run to stay out of a double play, unless they're trying to start the runner for fear of a pitch out and a no ball 1 strike count.
28 double plays grounded into by Tejada this year. That's in the air. The shortstop Cedeno's calling. 1 out. Stay tuned after the game for the Astros Live postgame show. It's brought to you by the MD Anderson Cancer Center. Kevin Eschenfelder and Art Howe will have all the highlights and analysis. Stay tuned. Now, see what's going on here. The Astros have a lot of players out of the dugout. Tejada's upset about something. Carlos Lee is looking out towards somebody on the field. I don't know what has them so upset.
I missed it. I put my head down and marked in my scorebook.
I'm happy about something.
I'm wondering if somebody threw him a spotlight.
Okay.
I don't know. It's just
well, we don't know. Now it's Hunter Pence batting. Look at Caps now. He's doing something to Tejada. He said something or gestured, and they had some words. Yeah, that was.
Caps, I don't know. Caps is telling him to run. I have no idea what Caps' issue would be, other than the fact that he gave up a home run and he's having a frustrating season. Got a little adrenaline pumping and he popped off.
There are some emotions boiling. Darren Erstad is on deck with Hunter Pence batting.
And the crowd into it. Everybody's up again. This is a great example. People talk about why the Astros. You hear people say they. What's he talking about? I don't know.
That set Miggy off and got his teammates on the field. Pence grounded into a double play last time up, 0 for 3.
But people talking about, well, the Astros have given up on the season. Probably hearing a similar story in Pittsburgh, but here you've got two teams way out of contention, battling. Everybody up on the rail.
2-1 ball game.
I can imagine if Hunter were to touch one here off the Caps. The reaction in that Astros dugout.
Caps to shortstop. It's a 1-6-3 double play. And that's the way it ends as the Pirates, who were 10-20 in one-run games, snap a 13-game losing streak on the road. Very close at first base as Pence grounds into a double play for the second time.
This one after a pitcher's pitch down and away. Caps under control with a good feed. And boy, he